Welcome guys to another episode of Hypixel Skyblock. So today we are going to build Superfarm 3.0 because everybody has been really mad that the admins made teleport pads no longer usable on the garden. So we're going to try and build a farm that gets as close to the farm as if you were using teleport pads. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So we're going to be doing basically the same thing as last time, starting off with wheat, carrot, potato, and netherwort, and then building melon and pumpkin, and hopefully building the rest of the farms as well, because I doubt they will actually update the farm again. So throw the infinity dirt wand in a builder's ruler, leave one gap open there. It's a row of 5 blocks, and then one gap, and then another 5, then another gap, and then another 5. And then you can grab the infinity dirt wand and put in some soul sand, and then another 5. Okay, so we're going to try and make this go as fast as possible. So basically put infinity dirt wand and a whole bunch of soul sand in, just like so. And after you finish the bottom row, you then can place a row of dirt just like that, and then just continue up the rows, and then shift click the dirt row in the middle to get rid of the extra layer that we don't need. Then when you finish, it should look something like this. Each are 5 rows high, and there are 4 layers for netherwort, wheat, carrot, and potato. So I've decided we're making all of the farms. So the next farm we're going to be making is actually going to be cactus. So to start off on the cactus farm, basically just fill your builder's ruler with a bunch of sand, leave 1 block gap between the netherwort farm and this farm, and now place 2 rows of sand and a 1 block gap, another 2 rows of sand, and do this for 22 rows. And then that should look something like this. We will have a small gap here, but don't mind it, that is just fine. Next thing will be use an infinity dirt ruler just to fill the missing gaps with dirt, so that while we are farming, you don't just fall through and, ruin the farm. So in order to build sugarcane and cocoa bean farms, what we're going to do is build up 2 dirt blocks high, just like so, on the edge of the farm. Then throw the infinity dirt wand in the builder's ruler, and now you can just send a row of dirt across like that. And now you can just fill this with all a layer of dirt, just so that it is very simple to build the next farms. The next thing will be to use the infinity dirt wand again, place a row of dirt there, and then just rows of 2, leaving a 1 block gap in between for water. Now we need 9 layers for sugarcane. So 1, 2, and once that's all complete, it should look something like this: 9 rows for sugarcane, and then we can move on to cocoa beans. So this was me in the future realizing that I messed up the cocoa beans farm. So basically leave 1 row for water between the sugar cane and the cocoa beans, and then place rows of dirt 2 high and a 2 block gap between each one. Now you're going to need 9 of these. And then you can get jungle wood from the bazaar and place 3 rows on top of each one. Just like so. Then cocoa bean should look something like this, and now we have to get wooden trapdoors for it. Now unfortunately you can't place this in the builder's ruler. This is by far the most annoying to place, because you have to place it up like this and then flip it down. So basically just place it all the way across, just like the other kind, and then run through afterwards and just right click them so they're up against the wall now. So now we can move on to the next plot, which again, we are making sure that this plot is going to be over here. We were just in plot 19, so we can do this row of 5, and in this row we are going to do melon, pumpkin, and mushroom. So starting off with the infinity dirt wand, just place a row of dirt across to make it easier for building, and then leave a 1 block gap for water, and then place 2, and then wait another 5 blocks, and then place another 2 after that, so it should look something like this, and repeat this for 9 rows. Then when you finish, it should look something like this. I just removed the end of the dirt there, so that there are 4 sticking out, and now we can use a shovel, mine out the 2 underneath the raised, and then 1 next to it just like that. 2 underneath the raised and 1 next to it, and you can just do this along the entire row. Now after we've finished that, it should look something just like this. And now we are going to place another row of dirt across, and then do rows of 4 just like so. Then after we finish that, we can remove this row of dirt. And then we just need to add rows of 2 just like the ones down below. The easiest way I found to do that is just use the infinity dirt wand to add 2, and then you can add the rows and then remove these 2 later. And once you finish, it should look something just like this. So now we're back to this plot. I just grabbed some iron trapdoors from the builder. Now this row is all going to be water. Now in here we actually need to grab our builder's ruler and add a row of dirt. Now if you've already seen the previous videos, this is the same as the last time. You just add the rows of dirt along here, so we can remove them later, but this is just so that we can place the trapdoors on the bottom of these. You just go down the row and place iron trapdoors. And then once you finish, you jump on top of this row and you go down the next row, and you just keep doing this until you get up to the top. And now it should look like this, and we repeat it again between these 2 platforms. And once you finish with that, the farm should now look something like this with trapdoors in those areas. Now after we finish that, it is time to add the water. So grab an infinity dirt wand out of your builder's ruler, place 1 single dirt, and then you can throw it back in and place a row of blocks. Now use a prisma pump and let it go all the way down the row. You can remove this dirt while you wait, and once it has made it down to the other row, you can remove the dirt and let it flow down. Now, there's a very high likelihood that it will temporarily disable the water on your world. Just don't mind it, it will fix itself eventually. And the next thing to do is just add a prisma pump across these trapdoors and the bedrock beneath them. And then over here, we do basically the same thing with the infinity dirt wand. We just put a row of dirt like so, and then a prisma pump. And then while we wait, we can just add the water for these rows. And now that we know it's made it to the other side, we can remove that row of dirt and also remove the other dirt on the other end. And it should look something like this. Now the water isn't flowing, but it will flow eventually, and it will fill up the missing gaps. And now we move on to sugarcane, which is basically the exact same idea. You just go in between these layers here. Now it really doesn't matter if it flows off onto the end, that is totally fine. Because we are going to be just pasting this down the rows and they'll all fill up together. So now that we've finished over there, we're going to start coming over here. And before we place down the water, we're going to start work on our mushroom farm. So what I've done here is I put 7 dirt high and I put 1 row of dirt across just to make it easier to build the mushroom farm. Now the problem is it doesn't fit in this small area. It barely goes over, so what we're going to have to do is put it above, and it barely fits above if we come from this end. So what we do is we leave 1 spot empty, and we start right here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, leaves 1 spot blank, and then another 5. And then another blank. And basically you just do this until you have 6 rows. And when you finish, it should look something like this. And now you can take out this row of dirt and mine out this extra. And after that, your farm should look just like this. So now you will have space over here for water, and you will also have space over here so that you can actually walk on it. And as you can see, it would dip into the melon farm just a little bit. And now the next part of the farm is we build 2 dirt blocks down and then 1 over. Then we can place a row of slabs with our builder's ruler just to make it so we have the perfect height for mushroom. And then repeat this on all of the rows with the empty slots. And you also have to do it on this last row, just like so. And then we can just mine out all of the excess dirt that we used to place the slabs. And after that is complete, we can then start work on the water for melon and pumpkin. So in order to do this one, what we're going to need is our infinity dirt wand. We're going to place 1 block just like so. We're going to take out all the slabs so that this ruler is just empty. And then we're going to use the builder's ruler and place a row of dirt just like so, and then place water on top of it. And then mine out this dirt and wait till it gets to the other end. Make sure it gets to the other end. If it doesn't, then fill it in with the Prisma pump. And once it does get to the other end, we can remove it, and the water flow should stop. Yeah, it's temporarily disabled. This does not matter. You can wait until it fills up. It will eventually. And now for the water for the pumpkin and melon farms. Basically what we need to do is after we've finished on this row, we have to come over here and then place dirt 2 high here and then 3 high on this one. Now I only put them up 2 so that I can place a row on top of it. So it goes just like so on top of that, and then remove the dirt beneath it. And that should be just enough so that if you were able to walk under it. And then just repeat that for all of the rows. And when you finish with that, it should look something like this. So basically just 2 blocks between this and here so that you can walk under it, and 2 diagonal blocks so that you can place water on it like so. And you wait for it to get to the other end, and you can just go all the way across. And when that's all done, it should look something just like this. Now if you want to measure, there's 2 here, 3 here, in between each one. Now it goes down, this doesn't really matter, you can block it off if you want. But when you finish, it should look something just like this, and it will barely fit together with the mushroom farm. So when you finish up with that, it should look something like this. Just the little one on each end, and then it should look like that throughout the middle ones. And it should be about a 1 block gap between that and your mushroom farm, and it will look just like this all the way across. The next thing is going to be planting, so you're going to want to remove your personal compactor if it has any, any crops in it that would turn into enchanted. So basically you want to just fill up your inventory and then fill it into a sack just like so, and now you can just plant netherwort and then move on to the next one, which is going to be wheat, carrot, and potato. And then when you finish with that, it should look something like this with wheat, carrot, potato, and netherwort all planted. Now to plant sugarcane, I found this out after I already recorded this part. So basically you can actually put sugarcane in a basket of seeds now. So just put it in a basket of seeds and then paste it down the rows of 2 next to the water. Plant the sugarcane, basically just plant all the way across the rows on the 2 that aren't covered by water. And cocoa beans, just fill up every row. Once you finish with that, it will look something like this. All of the cocoa beans will be planted. The trapdoors should be lined up so that you will be able to farm them fairly easily. And now it's on to planting the cactus. And you can actually place cactus with a basket of seeds. I was kind of not expecting it to work. I was hoping because it is super nice. But yeah, so you can place cactus with a basket of seeds as well. And when you finish, it will look just like that. All of the cactus is planted. And these farms are all done now. So now we can finish off the end with just the pumpkin and melon, which is fairly easy to just place with the hoe of greatest tilling. You just till on this one, and this one. So it's like these two, and this one will have melons and pumpkins growing on them on all of those. And just copy this down for all of the 9 rows. Now, once you finish with tilling all of the dirt, just grab a bunch of seeds. I'm going to start with pumpkin, and then plant pumpkin on the bottom row, just like so. And then I'm going to plant melon on the top rows. And once that's all complete, they should all be planted just like so. They might already even be growing. And now it's time to move on to mushroom, which is the last one. Now I'm just going to be using some red mushrooms. Now they're super easy to plant because you basically just like do this all the way across. Like it doesn't really matter how many you plant at all. They grow super fast. So you can just plant a bunch all around like this. And then once you run out of probably like 2 stacks should be plenty. And then once you run out, you can just copy it and then paste what you have, and they will all grow eventually. Now that all of the farms are done, it is time to fill our inventory with seeds and then put them into a sack so that they move on to get planted when we paste them over. So I'm going to start over here at these farms, which as you can see the mushrooms are growing super fast. So I'm just going to grab out a whole bunch of mushrooms, type /sacks, and insert the inventory. Unfortunately, you cannot put melon or pumpkin seeds into your sack. So now that I have a bunch of mushrooms in my sack, we are just going to paste it over, and I'm going to have to replant melon and pumpkin afterwards. We're just going to save this as a preset. I'm just going to call it MPM, as in mushroom, melon, and pumpkin. So now I'm just going to make it bedrock. So /desk, and now plot 8 is going to be MPM, and it should start pasting just the way we have it, like this. Now we have to replant these seeds eventually, but as you can see, the whole farm is perfect. And now that we've finished on this farm, it is time to go set this one up so that we can paste it over as well. And in order to do that, basically we have to fill our inventory and then fill our sack with cactus, cocoa beans, sugarcane, netherwort, carrot, potato, and seeds. And once you've filled your sack with all of these crops, we can then go to the desk and then paste it right next to it, which will be plot 7. Before we paste it, make sure to save plot 19. Save as a preset, which we're going to call Superfarm 3. And we're just going to make it the, I don't know, diamond. And once it is finished pasting, you can then just paste it for all 5 plots long. So first you have to decide on an end that you're going to call your starting end, and that is going to be this end for me. So what I'm going to do here is basically place a sign right on this trapdoor, and what this sign is going to say is /set spawn. Now if anybody is confused as to why I'm doing this, is because what I want is right here. I want to set my spawn on this block, so that way when I type /warp garden, I spawn right here. Set it up so that you're looking perfectly straight. Set spawn, so if I'm, at the end of my farm, way down here, I can type /warp garden, and it sends me right back to the top. This next layer, so this is as if I was coming from the other end. So what I have to do is put a sign right on this block, mine out this trapdoor, and then place a sea lantern here. So now if I were to go through there, I would just fall down onto the next row, and I'm just going to place a sea lantern to make sure that I stay on this row and I don't accidentally move too far. And then you do the same thing. You were coming from this end, so you mine out 2 trapdoors, one here, place a sea lantern, place a sign, and then another sea lantern right here. And now we have to go to the other end and basically do the same thing, but opposite. So we mine out 2 trapdoors just like this from the other end. Sea lantern, sign, it works the exact same way, and another sea lantern here. So here's where it gets a little bit different, because when we get to the end, we basically just block it off, and once you actually farm up to that point, you type /warp garden, and it will send you back to the beginning of your farm. And now we just copy that exact same thing right over here. And now it's time to move on to sugarcane. So now sugarcane was not fully set up because we need to add a blocker down the middle, but we also have to change down the middle just slightly. In order to make sugarcane work, basically we have to place a single dirt, and that will basically kill all the sugarcane on the end, but that doesn't really matter. And then after that's up, we can just use our builder's ruler to build dirt straight across, like so. And that will look something like this now. Make sure that you do it on all the plots because it will not have made it all the way. Unfortunately, you will have to replant this after you mine out this block that is right here. So what that's going to look like is you place that dirt, place it across, mine these 2 dirt, and then put 1 back. And then make sure you replant this sugarcane. If you want to see it again, it's basically just plant dirt, send that row, mine these 2, and then place this 1 back. And then plant the sugarcane. So we need are the signs, because right here we're going to type /set spawn. I'm just going to block this off with some sea lanterns so that I don't accidentally walk off. But /set spawn happens right there. And basically what we need to do next is block off each one of these so that we don't walk off the edge of the map. So now we would have come from this end, coming this way, and once we get to this end, so we need to mine out that dirt and place a lily pad. So basically we will walk right over it and it won't stop the water. And then we go off and then mine this one and do a lily pad, and basically just alternate every other down the rows. So basically we just mine out these. Place sea lanterns. Just like so. And now we would have come from this end, so we need to place the lily pad on this one and then do every other the same way. And just like so, that is it for the sugarcane farm. And basically when we get to this end, this is where you type /warp garden. I'm just placing these signs so that if you do visit me, it's easier for you to tell. My island is always open, so you can just visit me if you are confused about any part. So after we finish sugarcane, we move on to cocoa beans, and basically this sign goes right here, /set spawn. We can place like 2 dirt or some block, so that we don't accidentally fall out. We need 1 to just open it up so that we can start it, but we need it to be at least here so that it stops us here. And then we can move on to this side of the wall. And after you finish with mining straight through, basically what you need to do is place a door like so. Now this is just so that like when you finish this row, it blocks you on the door so that you're close enough to this row and you farm back this way and the door won't get in your way. It will just push you on to the end. And make sure you block off all of these because you do not want to drop off the map like that ever. And then right here on the opposite end, this is going to be where you type /warp garden. I'm going to try and put it on the outside of the farm so that people can see it. It is just like right here, /warp garden. And on the opposite side of the farm, you only have to block it off with dirt. Nothing else has to happen over here. And just like that, the cocoa bean farm is now done. Now this is going to be where you type /set spawn for the cactus, just right at the beginning. When you do type /set spawn, you need to make sure you're looking at the right angle before you type it, so that you are always looking at the right angle when you teleport there. Now for cactus, we're going to be coming from this end, so what we need to do is place a door just like so. We can mine out 2 cactus, and then go forward, where I'm going to place a door just like that. So it looks like this. You're farming like this, not at the right angle, but that's fine. And then it will send you down the next row. So basically it's like place 1 on the edge of this block right here, and then this sand right there. So on the opposite end, it looks the same, just opposite. So you stop here, and the next door is directly in front of you. Just to clarify that again, you place a door like that, and then the sand right over here. One last time, door there, sand up here. So it looks just like this. So when you finish, it should look something just like this. And that is it for this farm, and now we can move on to the next one. So for mushroom, you actually start over here on this end. So you get the sign /set spawn is here. And we basically go down this end, and then we'll be coming back over here, farming this row. So we have to place a sea lantern here and mine out 5. And then place slabs across, and then a sea lantern here. So you just farmed all the way down across here, and now you go across this way. And now the same thing over here, which I've already done. You farmed down this way, and now you go over this way. And then you end right down here, where you type /warp garden. And now on the opposite side, it's just like this, just for the other ones. So you finished on this row, place the sea lantern, and it's this one instead of the others. Then block it off again. And when you're all finished, it should look something like this on this end. And now we move on to pumpkin and melon, the last 2. The /set spawn is both here and right here for pumpkin and melon. Now basically we would be coming from the other end on these farms. So after you come back from this end, this is where it gets a little tricky because it is a little bit different. Basically what's happened here is we've come off of this end. We need to break this melon and replace this with like a wood or a sea lantern or something. I'm just going to use sea lantern because I'm holding an axe. I don't want anything to go wrong. So basically I would have come from this end, it stops, I go straight across and go to the next row. So basically you just build a little platform like so across. Now it doesn't really matter that the water didn't flow down because it just goes around it if you block it off. Just make sure to block this off because as you can see the water kind of spilled out a little bit. It's easy to contain though. So now we would be coming back from this end. So I will show you guys again because that was a little bit confusing. So right here we break this melon and this one. We'll just place sea lanterns there. So we're coming from here. We need to break this, this, and then these are totally fine. Break this and place that. So now it's a straight across. Now this might spill a little bit, but it should be okay if I just place it just like so. So now it should look something like this on this end with bridge across every other one. And now you repeat this on the opposite end, basically the same way. We would start from this end, so it's the same, you just block it off. Build the bridge across. Just like so. And then on this end, basically what you need to do is just make sure that you do not go past. The easiest way to do that is just place an obsidian in front of you, because you would normally go straight, though this time you won't. So for the pumpkin farm, it is actually going to be slightly different than the melon, because we are not able to do it on the same block. So what happens is you come down from this end, we place a door on the outside edge of this block. Now you can't use it on a tilled ground, so I just used wood. And now we need to mine out this straight path of melons that is not being used. Just like so. And then we can turn this into a straight path across. Now, because we're farming pumpkins, it's actually best that these bridges are not made out of wood. So I'm just going to be using some of the stone brick slabs that were left over from the mushroom farm. On the opposite end, it's basically the exact same thing. We would start from coming from this direction. So you break the seed, break this dirt, place a plank, place a door. We can then break all of these because they're completely unused from the top. And then place some slabs like so. Then block off the water, and then copy this exact same thing every other all the way across, and that will do it for your last farm. Congratulations on finishing this super farm. It should have all the farms, and unless admins decide to really just hate on us and change the entire way of farming again, this should be all you need. And that does do it for today's episode. If you did enjoy this episode, please make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing if you are new around here, and I will see you guys next time.